everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the South Stand with me, Jez Davies. I am joined this week, a bit of a change to the usual. Morgan can't make it, so I'm joined with Oliver Sadler, who is our TikTok magician. Hi, Oliver. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. And thanks for coming on today. We were going to be speaking to a QPR fan, but unfortunately they've dropped out last minute. So we're going to obviously just backfill this a little bit and just talk about, you know, the first few games of Philippe Clement's reign. So I think that's probably quite a good place to start, really. So just perhaps just talk to us a little bit about how you think the first two games have gone for Philippe Clement. Do you think it's too early to judge, or do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously it's too early to judge. You can't really judge a manager after two games. I weren't expecting anything away against Birmingham anyway. I think he had, 1 or 2 days to train with the players. So, you know, Birmingham, I took it on the chin a bit, and I thought there was a massive improvement against Oxford as well. I thought, you know, the fans backed the players throughout the game as well. I thought the atmosphere was fairly good, but unfortunately we couldn't get over the line in the end, and that puts another question on the QPR game, which is seen as a must-win now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's. I watched the Birmingham game on TV. I didn't go. But I did go to the Oxford game midweek. I thought it was important to go and support the new manager first game. I'm with you. I think, you know, what did he have? 2 days with the team. If obviously, you know, you could take into account the ones that are on international duty as well. I know there wasn't many, but you know, still some key players in there that were away. Kenny McLean, obviously. After his heroics for Scotland. But I think, you know, I'm with you. Birmingham were on a roll. I think that was the third game consecutively they scored 4 goals at home. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, they're obviously a good outfit, and, you know, a very settled outfit that had just been promoted. So they're on a bit of a roll. You know, I think he probably used it as a bit of an example to a couple of the players, i.e. Shane Duffy. I think he's sort of gone, well, you know, it is a white book at the moment, and the players have got to almost sort of fill that book with their own. You know, they're all starting from zero almost, and yeah, I think that showed with his team selection for Oxford, which I think looked a lot more settled. McConville was class. I thought absolutely superb. I think I'm just making sure the following questions, I'm not talking about those at the moment, but no, I think, you know, talking about. You know, the first one, I think it is too early. I think even the QPR game this weekend, I still don't know whether we will see the full pelt Philippe Clement side. I think we'll see it sort of heading towards that, but you know, I think there's still some shaky times, wasn't there, in that Oxford game?
Yeah, I think another point to make as well, he's bold with his decisions. If you look at the Eurosec situation, you know, he subbed him on, in the 76th minute, I think, and then to bring him off in the 92nd. Of course, probably a lot of tension, but it was a call that he felt right. And, you know, it left a lot of questions to be answered within the fan base as well over Eurosec's future as well. How can he bounce back from it? But like you said as well, Clement's not going to know his starting 11 as soon as he comes in. So it's about players taking their chances. Like McConville did Tuesday night for me. You know, he looked really assured at the back. So yeah, it's just about finding that best 11, and you know, QPR's another home game as well to back the boys under. Yeah,
I think he reminds me a lot of Leon Barnett in the way that he plays. McConville. He's that sort of like assured centre back, the way he jockeys, the way he, you know, some of the through balls that he played down the wing, that crunch and tackle where he put the Oxford player in Rose Ed. It was absolutely superb. I think, I mean, we've been speaking to Rory a few times on Instagram on the channel. You know, in recent months, he obviously very kindly donated some football boots for the Ambers Army event as well, that we had earlier this year. So it's great to see him, you know, finally getting the opportunity. And for me, he deserves a start on Saturday. I think it goes without saying.
Yeah, I think there was another moment as well. I think he'd shielded the ball out and sort of uplifted the Barclay as well. And I think you could tell he was playing with confidence, because I think if you look at previous games this season with him, I think he struggled with confidence, but the atmosphere hasn't helped that. And that would have been the same impact on a lot of players. You know, it's been quite toxic at home this season, but Oxford was really good. The atmosphere was good. The performance was good for the most part. Yes, we did concede late on, and that would have hurt just because of how late on it was. But I think he was brilliant and deserves to start on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think just sort of touching on the Jurasek thing, two things there. I think I could see it happening as soon as he walked on the pitch because he just wasn't on it. He just didn't look like he was bothered. He wasn't getting anywhere near. We saw Sargent, Makama, Swati just chasing down constantly their defence, and he just didn't do it. He just wasn't following that sort of, I guess, game plan, I suppose. And it just didn't look. He just didn't look right, and I thought he's going to be hooked here, and he was. I don't know. I think it shows that obviously Clement's not going to take any rubbish, but also I just worried a little bit that it had a bit of a bad effect on the team that are out there, because obviously we conceded a minute later, didn't we? What's your take on that? Do you think that they sort of their heads went a little bit after that sub?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the right call. Like you said, he struggled to really get into the game. He never looked like proper lively, really, as well. I think to bring Fiskgarden on for him that late into the game, I think he could have utilised probably a more defensive option. But like you said, the other defensive option on the bench was Shane Duffy, and I think that would have probably caused a bit of a reaction if he did come on. But yeah, I think it's just the lapse in concentration. They were always going to have that chance coming towards the end of the game, and they took it, unfortunately, and that's where we are. But performance levels, since the dust has settled on that, and I've been a bit less reactionary, I think it was a good performance, and we probably should have taken our chances. Like the Sargent one, Schwartau, I think had a good chance, and Marcondes and Makama had a shot as well. But can't really complain apart from conceding late on.
No, agreed. And I think, that probably brings us nicely onto question two. So, I mean, obviously, we've got the balance of the 4-1 loss at Birmingham, but then the 1-1 draw, which we probably should have won. Let's be honest, as you've just said. What performance do you think was more the real Norwich right now, would you say?
Obviously, I see the Oxford one was similar to sort of last season in a way that we controlled the game a lot more. But I think there's still some negatives. I think in the first half, it was quite static. I think the midfield really struggled to get into the game first half. I think when Maatsen came on, it changed a lot more. Way more sort of productive in the midfield in terms of putting in challenges, winning the ball. It kind of looked like Topic was a bit sort of scared to be involved in that first half. Yes, he was really unfortunate with the injury and probably maybe should have scored that 1-on-1 where he did go down injured. But I think second half was a lot better. Like I said, the chances, you just have to put them to bed in the end. You have to be a bit more ruthless. And in the end, we weren't. And we were punished for it.
Yeah, it's a fair shout. And I mean, as I say, I think I said just before we came on, we could have probably should have been 3 or 4-0 up before before Oxford unfortunately equalised. But I think there was a lot of emphasis placed around the bleep test last week on Clement's first day, and I think as much as that was just a test of the players' fitness, he wasn't doing that for any other reason. He just wanted to see where they were at. But actually, I think the fitness levels Tuesday night, even in this short amount of time, looked loads better. They were chasing players down in the 86th, 87th minute, and it was just that lapse of concentration. Fisher got turned inside out on the wing, but it's not his natural position, is it, at left back? The ball came across, and the guy had almost a free hit into the goal, didn't he? But I think for me, I've already seen signs of what you've just said, like last season, how we played, how we set up. Almost looking back as far as Paul Lambert days, where he, that sort of constant pressing of players. 1 or 2 times there was some nice passing moves. I've already mentioned McConville down the pass down on the wing. What really pleased me was the link up between the wing backs. Sorry, not the wing backs, the full backs and the wingers. So we're already starting to see that relationship being built up. And I actually don't think tomorrow he's going to make too many changes, because I think he looks like he's a manager that likes consistency. So, I mean, what's your take on that? Do you think he will make many changes leading into the game tomorrow?
No, I agree with you. I think it's also important to note, you noted that left side as well is Fisher out of position. Schwartau's not really a natural winger either. It's really hampered. And you could tell Oxford were trying to exploit that for the majority of the game. So I think once Hovo, Crescene, Diallo all come back from injury, we'll start picking that side up a bit more and being a lot more competitive down that side. But yeah, I think in terms of tomorrow, in terms of changes, I think he'll keep it relatively similar. Obviously, he's going to bring in Matson because Topic was injured, hopefully, anyway. But yeah, I think it's interesting as well about Marcondes because I don't think he had his best game on Tuesday either. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. Will he bring Chris Garden back in? I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see what he puts out tomorrow.
I think, do you know what? I think Marcondes was better first half than he was second half. I think he tried a few things second half, which didn't come off. He had that chance, didn't he, where the Oxford players done a brilliant interception block, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I didn't think he was so bad first half, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I think it's not the Marcondes of old. I mean, he started really well with us, didn't he, when he was on. He wasn't even on loan, was he? Because did we not get him off on a free transfer or something?
Yeah, he was on a 1-year deal, and then they extended the deal at the end of the season.
That's right. Yeah. So I think whilst he was sort of playing for that longer contract, if you like, and I've no idea what sort of contract he's on now, but he looked good. But yeah, I don't know if he just needs to run a games because I think there's a player there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. I mean, Makama, just talk me through what you thought about Makama's goal because I thought it was exceptional.
Yeah, I was right and sort of line with it as well when he hit it. So it was a shock that we went 1-0 up. I was proper happy, but he played unbelievable for me. I think every time he touched the ball, he was, you could properly tell that he was drawing players into him. He was sort of so good at keeping the ball. I think as well, like his technical ability for how big he actually is tremendous, and for how young he is as well. Coming from League One, making that impact straight away. I think he's got 4 goals now for us in the league. But I think that was a different type of finish I've seen from him because, a lot of his goals have been sort of, cutbacks across net and just tap in. But yeah, that was a really good strike. Yeah, he was excellent on Tuesday for me.
I thought, I agree. I completely agree with you. I think it was quite an instinctive strike, wasn't it? In terms of it just not landed at his feet as such, but he had to sort his feet out a little bit. But it was a very much right. It's come here, top right hand corner, done. What a goal! So I think I'm going to change question 3 up a little bit. So what are we? 7 points off safety? 6 points?
6 points, yeah.
So where do you see us now with the new manager? With the actually, I'm going to rephrase that. So we'll take January transfer window as a separate question, but currently sort of leading from now until the 31st of December, 1st of January. What do you see Norwich doing in the next month, shall we say? What we got to do to get out of where we are?
I think the goal is to bridge that gap as close as we can towards January, because when you get into that window when you're 23rd in the league, and say if we don't pick up points from now until January, what type of players can you attract into a Norwich side that looks dead and buried? So for me, it's about bridging that gap from now and then, picking up points where we can. Yes, it's going to be a big expectation and a lot of pressure on players, managers, everyone at the club to get those results. But I think it's so important. I'm looking at the run of fixtures now. I think we've got QPR, Watford, Sheffield United are in there as well. So there's quite a favourable run of games. We're not playing the top 6 as such. So it's about picking up points and bridging that gap for me. What about yourself?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that. No, I think I'm with you, mate. It's one of them, isn't it? I think I've used the Forup quote there. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Not Forup, sorry, Manning. I don't know. For me, if we're say 2 points safe from safety when it comes to the 31st of December, I won't be that bothered. I think if we're there, it doesn't look so bad, does it? It's like we've still got enough in the bank in terms of games to get out of it, and also a January transfer window to sort themselves out. And I think, I think I don't think it's going to be an overnight remedy. I don't think we're going to go on a winning run of 3 or 4 games and get ourselves out of it straight away. But we've realistically got to win 3 more games than the likes of Portsmouth, Swansea. I think Sheffield United will be fine. Derby. And when you look at it over a 29-game spell and you think, well, you've got to win 3 more games than them, it doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's bad at the moment because of the predicament we're in. But I think we've all... The thing for me is we've got to remember the manager's 2 games in. He's only been here over a week. We've already seen signs of improvement. And yeah, long may it continue. I think that's the way we've got to look at it, mate. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So I said we were going to do this question in 2 parts. So my second part of that question is January transfer window. What do we need to bulk the squad?
Obviously, we need to from the previous sort of recruitment plan that we were doing in the summer. I think a lot more EFL sort of experience is needed, but I think the January window is always hard because you can't go out and get the top targets from other teams because they're going to be trying everything to keep hold of their most important players. So you're going to have to recruit and scout extremely well, in my opinion, to try and find sort of these players that will come in and play. But I think they should give it to Clement. You know, who does he want in? Go out and bring them players in, because I can't really trust Napa to bring in any more sort of his signings, because as you've seen so far, there's only sort of 3 out of 17 that's probably worked out. But yeah, I think the January window will be hard, but I'm excited to see what we do in it, because we're obviously going to be active, like Napa's been saying in these interviews. So yeah, I'm excited to see who we can bring in.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my own thoughts on Napa and where he'll be in January, which I don't think he will be with Norwich. I think it's going to be in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because I can't see that they're going to give him another window. I mean, I might be completely off the mark here, and this just doesn't come from any kind of inside knowledge, because I haven't got any inside knowledge, but it's more my own opinion of how I saw the interviews that he did the other week play out with, the likes of Talk Norwich City, Connor Southall, Pinken, who else did he do? Henry Winter, which was the official club one, Radio Norfolk. He didn't look comfortable in any of those interviews. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. He looked almost as if he'd been told to do the interviews. Especially, this is no disrespect to the Talk Norwich City lads, but when they've absolutely lambasted the crap out of them for a month or 2, so saying Napa out, get out of my club and all this, which they have done on their channels and the podcast, and then he's then had to go into the lion's den almost, and then go and sit with the 2 that have just 2 people that have literally just lambasted him for however long. He didn't want to do that, so who's put him up to that? Mark Atanasio.
Yeah,
got to be, because there's no way professionally in any walk of life that if anyone slates you like those 2 have, and they're fully entitled to, I'm going to say it again, they're fully entitled to their opinion, and I respect their opinion. There's no way on earth that those 2 would be able to do that and then get access to Ben Napa.
Yeah, for sure. I think when Mark came over for that week, I think he spoke on BBC Radio Norfolk and stuff. I think that was kind of like to distract from the noise that was going on the pitch as well. It's quite sort of strategic from him. He said relegation's not an option and stuff. And then within, I think the week after, we continued to drop results and stuff, and that sort of picked up again, and that's when Napa came out and spoke to all these channels and stuff. But yeah, look, now we're in Clement's era. I'm excited to see what can happen. Like I said, bring on January, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it sort of went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I think with Clement, I think he'll have more of a say in what the players that come in. I don't think he would have come into this job thinking, well, someone else is going to be in charge of my squad. I want to be in charge of this. Do you see what I mean? He's very much. He looks like a leader. He feels like a leader. The way that he talks to the media, he's never rude, but he gets his point across in a very different way to perhaps we've seen with the previous managers.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's also important to note as well. I'll go back to the transfer window and who it brought in. It's like, if you ask me what I think about Diallo, Eurosec, sort of all these players that were brought in that have been quite injury prone, I can't really sort of give my judgment on them because we haven't actually seen them play, and that's the most sort of damning part about it, is that I can't really figure out these players. Like Forson, for example, he came on, he looked all right. And then another game he'll completely drop off. It's like I can't get my head around where I am with these players because they're not widely available, and that's all down to recruitment and whatever the recovery process is at their training ground as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think Forson beat one player on Tuesday night, whereas there's other games where he comes in and looks really good. It's very inconsistent, and I think I've had enough, very strong, but I have had enough of now bringing these players in that aren't oven ready.
Yeah.
And I think, you look at the likes of, trying to think of some sort of clear examples, but yeah, like the guys that, although they haven't scored many goals, but the two strikers for QPR that we discussed when we came on, one's from Burton Albion, one's from Wycombe Wanderers. And okay, they're down, but they've scored whatever it is, 6 and 4 goals this season, which at this stage of the season isn't really to be sniffed at. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there's only so many times we can sort of say to ourselves, oh well, this player, he'll be all right in March, but by that time it's probably going to be too late for us.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, looking ahead to the game, because that's what we're here to talk about. What do you think we need to do to obviously get the win? So let's take Tuesday night as an example. We drew 1-1. What do we need to do on Saturday to get the 3 points?
I think we need to settle into the game. I think on Tuesday night as well, you could see Oxford came out pressing really high, looking for that early chance against us to fold us. I think if we can settle them nerves again, play through it, play through that press, because QPR are a team this season that have been in every game they've played in. They haven't really been battered this season. So I think it's important that we, like you said, with the consistency in the lineup, he won't change too much. We'll look to probably go out with the same sort of game plan. But I'd like to see us be a bit more ruthless and take more chances earlier on that will kill the game. But I think if we can do that, I think we'll stand a good chance. But QPR for me are always sort of the bogey team, but it's normally away. I mean, last season we go back to when we drew 1-1 with them. They didn't even have a shot on target yet. We still drew 1-1, and that was due to a Cernak own goal. And then sort of, we levelled it up with that Nunes strike in the 89th minute, I think it was. But they're always a tough side, QPR, to play against. So again, it'll be a very hard game on Saturday. But the expectations from all sort of fans win this game. So yeah, I think ride the storm early in the first half, and hopefully come out and take more chances, and hopefully we'll be able to win the game from that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sargent will get off the mark.
Yeah,
I've just got a feeling. I think he'll get off the mark in that game. That's what he needs. And I mean, obviously, we haven't seen him score for so long, but I think he's been bereft of confidence because of what happened with Liam Manning. And the way he set up, he just never got any support. Whereas I think there was sort of, signs on, not Borgia signs, by the way. So there were signs on Tuesday night that he was going to get some more. So obviously Kenny McLean's brilliant little deep through ball. Been watching Scott McTominay in training, I think. But no, I think that was brilliant. And it was, if Sargent set himself properly, if Sargent had gone on a run of scoring goals, he scores that chance. It's just because he hadn't scored for long, he snatched it a little bit. So yeah, I do think that there will be an improvement in him. You're right. I think we need to start the game on the front foot, because I think Oxford did that, surprised Norwich a little bit, and then we kind of managed to sort of grow into it a little bit. I mean, I never say the goalkeeper's name. I'm going to just say Vlad.
Yeah.
So Big Vlad obviously turned that one over the bar, didn't he? In 21st minute or whatever it was. But no, I think that's the thing for me. I think we'll just get a little bit of a quicker start, and I think the next few games is just almost like we can just use a little bit of the element of surprise with our performance. Does that make sense? Because they're going to expect us to be the Norwich of old, but we're not going to be. So I think they'll do their research. Obviously, of course they will, but I do think we've got a little bit more to go at, really. So just talk to us a little bit about, because I know obviously this is probably a good time for you to plug your TikTok championship channel, Ollie, whilst we're here. But talk to us a little bit about that, and obviously the research you've done on QPR going into the game this weekend.
Yeah, so my TikTok's Sadler Talks Football or Footy. I've been doing that for almost a year now, come January. So it's going well. Covers sort of mainly Norwich and some in the early days a lot more of the Championship. But I think going into QPR, I think they've had some great wins this season. If you look at Wrexham away, where they turned them over 3-1, to go to Wrexham and do that is a solid performance. And a lot of people this season wrote QPR off. It's the same with sort of Preston as well. But I think QPR this season have massively overperformed for where I think their squad is personally as well. They sit 25 points, 15 clear of Norwich. That's unacceptable from our standards as well. But I think their recruitment's been, like you mentioned with Norwich, we're a surprise package now. I think that's the same with QPR's recruitment. A lot of players from the lower leagues. I know Richard Kone was very hot in the summer for a lot of clubs, and they managed to get him over the line. Obviously, they've got Dembele as well on the wing, who's from his Celtic days was one of the biggest prospects in the world at one point as well. So they've got some good players. There'll definitely be a challenge for us as well. But I think, like I said, if we can ride that early storm, we'll be fine in this game. I think we will win it 2-1, but I'm not going to hold any grudges on that.
I think a lot of people said about McLean going left back, but do you think that obviously is Dembele a right winger or a left winger?
He's a right winger, yeah.
Right, so for me, that's not an option then. So I think we need to match him pace for pace. He's quick. I do remember him because I think he was always the one that you could buy on Football Manager or Championship Manager. Right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's fit though, so we'll see. Right. But I haven't done that much extensive research, but we'll see.
No, it's fine, and you've done more than I have, so that's something. But I think I think it is. You look at that league table and you think, how the hell are we 23rd and the money we've spent? And I think that's a lot of Norwich fans are thinking that. But that's why we've made a recent managerial change, and I think there are more changes to come. But no, I'm with you. I think we'll get a win this weekend. It will show clear progression from where we were a week ago when everyone was really downbeat with the fact we've just been beaten 4-1. I think we saw green sheets of recovery midweek, which we did, albeit we couldn't hold on for the win. But actually, I think this will be the game where it turns. Maatsen was superb second half, by the way. I thought he was. You mentioned that earlier. I thought he was really good. Okay, I think we've come to a natural end, Ollie. Thanks for coming on.
It's been good. Yeah, thank you for having me on as well.
No, not at all. And again, if you just like to just talk a little bit about what you do for Beyond the Barclay and also your TikTok channel as well.
Yeah, so for Beyond the Barclay, I've been running the TikTok now, I think since February, something like that. And we've done sort of over 1 million views in that time on the channel, which is really good for sort of a local sort of podcast group. But yeah, I do that, and obviously Sadler Talks Footy, I do that alongside that. So after the Norwich game, I'll give sort of a post-match review. And that's been going quite well as well.
Brilliant, fantastic, and thanks once again for all of your help with the TikTok stuff. It's way beyond mine and Morgan's capabilities. So having someone that actually knows what they're doing is good. And I think my favourite ever post, is that the right way of putting it? I don't know. My favourite post that you did was the Norwich women's goal, which got nearly 1 million views. It's incredible. That was good. That was really good. Anyway, for everyone else watching, obviously enjoy the game this weekend. Please do send us in your predictions and let us know what you think. Please obviously like and subscribe on the channel. Follow us on all of the social media channels. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, and obviously TikTok. We are proudly supported by Masterseal and Pye Design, and we are part of the talkSPORT fan network. I've been Jez Davies.
And I've been Oliver.
Thanks, everyone. Speak soon. Enjoy the game.